The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? Scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you. For the next 3 hours, we will be chatting some sports. Say congratulations, first and foremost, to the YSU bowling team, as the bowling team has gone into the Final Four. They got to the Final Four by knocking off some pretty good competition yesterday, as the Penguins were able to beat Sam Houston after getting the job done with two other opponents to get into the Final Four. Now, right now, the Penguins began Final Four play a couple of hours ago, taking on number one seed McKendree. Arkansas State and Nebraska are going to be playing in the other national semifinal contest. It is a double elimination, by the way. So if you lose, the Penguins would then take on the loser of the Arkansas State-Nebraska matchup. If the Penguins were to win, they'd take on the winner. Right now, it doesn't look good for the Penguins. There's two different formats of doing this. The first format is complete game. Each bowler, five in all, they all bowl one game, and they take the total number of pins. And let me tell you, this McKendree team is crazy good. Two of their five bowlers had a perfect game through 7 frames. All of their bowlers, with the exception of one, bowled over 200. They beat the Penguins 1145 to 954 in the first segment of this. Then you go into the Bakers game, and the Bakers game is real simple, I should say. Bowler number one will bowl the first 2 frames. Bowler number 2, the next 2. Bowler number 3, the next 2. You get the idea. The first 3 games have all gone to McKendree. They beat the Penguins 246 to 219 in game number 1. They knocked off the Penguins 267 to 241 in game number 2, and they knocked off the Penguins 278 to 210 in game number 3. Right now, the lead for McKendree going into the last game, if I do some math real quick here, 27 and 26 is 53, and 68, they're 121 pins better. Pretty much no chance for the Penguins to get off the mat on this one. This has just been an unbelievable display of great bowling, and I guess there's a reason why McKendree is the number 1 seed and the number 1 ranked team in bowling. So it would appear the YSU women will be going into the losers bracket immediately, where they would then take on the loser of today's other national semifinal match between Arkansas State and Nebraska. So that's where we stand with the women. First time in school history that the Penguins are in the Final Four in any Division I contest. Now, not 1AA. Now, of course, the Penguins have been the FCS champs, 1AA champs in football 4 times in their history. but never in the history of Youngstown State athletics in Division I have the Penguins been able to reach a Final Four in any sport. This is the first. And unfortunately, the Penguins are going to go into the losers bracket. Now, that doesn't mean that they're complete toast. I mean, they're going to have to win out now. Obviously, the team that wins the first two matches and goes into the winners bracket is going to be sitting pretty, because that's the team that would then have to lose 2 times in order to lose the championship. So the Penguins, it would appear, will be battling from behind as they will go into the losers brackets. It's not official yet, but I don't see I don't see an out for the Penguins. They're behind in a big way against McKendree in the national semifinal match. The other thing going on, before we get to our guests, who will be coming up momentarily, would be the Masters tournament. Jason Kokrak teed off at about 9 o'clock this morning. The Warren, Ohio native was 1 under through the first round, and Kokrak actually looked really good, sitting pretty. 2 under for the day. 2 under for the tournament, 1 under for the day after 4 holes, and then all hell broke loose. Jason double bogeyed the 5th, double bogeyed the 6th. He has since birdied the 8th hole, and he is through 10 holes today. He is 2 over for today, 1 over for the tournament. This puts him in a tie for 25th place, 5 shots in back of Justin Rose. Rose has been god-awful today after bogeying the first hole and birdieing the second hole. He bogeyed the 4th, the 6th, and the 7th. He is 3 over for today, 4 under for the tournament. Still leading this tournament by 1 shot, but he is 4 under for the tournament. Jason is just 5 shots off the pace, and if Kokrak can get hot here in the back 9, maybe, just maybe, he can get himself into some pretty good area going into moving day tomorrow. I can tell you that the cut line as of right now is 3 over. Now that could change during the course of the day. Not all of the golfers are on the golf course right now. Mainly the morning guys are essentially on the golf course right now. All of the golfers will be on the course by 2 o'clock. And then again, when the final group tees off at 2 o'clock, some of the golfers will be off the course. But for right now, 3 over is the cut line. So you have to be 3 over or better in order to continue on in the 2021 edition of the Masters tournaments. But right now, Kokrak is on the 11th hole, and he is currently 1 over for the tournament, 2 over for the afternoon. We will keep everyone abreast of that situation as well. All right, coming up on the show today, we're going to talk some high school baseball. Dan Doherty from Lowellville will be checking in about 10 minutes or so. Give or take a few minutes. 12:15, he'll be checking in. Jeff Jackson from the Camel Red Devils will be checking in at 1:15. And at 2 o'clock today, we will hear from Greg Goulas. Greg Goulas is one of the people that are pretty much high-ranking muckety-muck in the statue that is hopefully going to be erected at some point this summer. We made mention of this earlier this week, the famous handshake that took place on April the 18th, 1946, in which Jackie Robinson was playing in his first game with the Montreal Royals, the Dodgers AAA affiliate. He had homered, and the on-deck hitter was Youngstown, Ohio native George Shuba. George Shuba shook the hand of Jackie Robinson. That is a handshake that signified an awful lot of things, the biggest of which was that Jackie was going to be just one of the guys. And Back in that time, it was very wasn't a very good sight for Major League Baseball to not have players of color representing their race and representing baseball. Jackie Robinson became the first black player since the quote ban on Latinos and players of color to appear in Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson was signed by the Dodgers in 1946. He went to their AAA franchise in Montreal, and on opening day, April the 18th, 1946, 75 years ago, Jackie Robinson hit a home run, and he was greeted at home plate by a handshake from Youngstown, Ohio native George Shotgun Shuba. And that handshake made the cover of Life magazine. It is also a handshake that's, had it happened in Major League Baseball, this would have probably gotten a lot more story, and I would argue that it would still be talked about today. But because it was in the minor leagues, not so much traction. But because George Shuba was part of this, Greg Gullis and a few other people came up with the idea to erect a statue and put it in Youngstown, and we'll get the latest on when this statue is due to be unveiled in the Youngstown area, where it's going to be put, and all the other particulars. That'll be coming up with Greg Gullis coming up at 2 o'clock. We will also hear from the Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Ron Strollo. He is in Kansas City, and as soon as the Baker format is over, and again, the Penguins are already down over 100 pins going into the final game of the Baker's match, we will hear from Ron Strollo. Let's go to the phone lines right now. I believe we have the head baseball coach of the Lowellville Rockets on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach Doherty, is this you?
Ron. This is Ron Strollo.
Ron, how are you, sir? I do apologize. Give us an update on what is going on down in Kansas City. We had talked about the this team being really, really good, the McKendree team. How did it turn out?
Yeah, it's not turning out very well for us. I mean, sometimes in this sport, our kids are bowling really well, and actually I think we would have won the matches that against the other two teams that are bowling on other lanes. But unfortunately today we're matched up against McKendree, and they had won the national championship 3 years ago, but they sometimes it's more about how good the other team is on that day. And right now they're bowling out of their mind. They've got a couple 278 games. So right now we're in the final Baker's match. And to be honest with you, we're down enough that, both teams have put their subs in, for those, so that's kind of where we're at. And, so we will face the loser of the other match, which is Arkansas State and Nebraska. We will face them later on here today. I think it's 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central.
Okay.
Because this is double elimination here in the Final Four.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I had made mention the first 5 frames in the regular bowl off, where all 5 kids bowl one game. Through the first 5 frames of game number 1. Now, that's 25 frames if you multiply the 5 players by the 5 frames that they're bowling each. Through the first 25 frames, this team had marked either a spare or a strike in 24 of the 25 frames possible, and 2 of those kids had a perfect game through 7 frames. I mean, it was ridiculous to see just how talented this team was.
Yeah, no, McKendree's really good, and like I said, we're taking their best punch today. So whether it was us or anyone else in the country, quite honestly, they were going to get a win here today. I think I sent someone a text. I think through 4 frames, they had 17 strikes out of 20 frames. So they're really good, and they really. What's amazing is, these are long matches, and And you know, a lot of times there's ebb and flow, and sometimes you get some momentum, and sometimes you lose it. But they kept the momentum the whole way through this thing.
Yeah. Well,
Again, our kids showed up and competed. Probably competed well enough to beat any other normal team, but not McKendree today.
Well, look, best of luck in the losers bracket. The Penguins will take on the loser of Arkansas State and Nebraska. And again, just win 2 matches, and you're in the national championship game. And hopefully we get a little revenge on McKendree when it counts. And that would be the national title game.
Yeah, no question. And obviously that game will be broadcast live on ESPNU Saturday evening. So hopefully we get that far, and it's just kind of one step at a time at this point.
Yeah, bowling a 219, a 241, and a 210 in a Baker's format, that's pretty solid. Unfortunately, the highest score the Penguins had in the first 3 games wasn't good enough because the lowest score McKendree had was 246. They were bowling out of their mind, and it's one of those things that it happens. So you live to fight another day later today and take out the frustration on the loser of Arkansas State and Nebraska.
That's the plan. We're proud of these kids, and they showed up here today, and I'm sure they'll show up this afternoon.
Hey, Ron, thanks for the update. We appreciate it, sir.
No problem, Ron. Thank you.
All righty. Ron Strollo in Kansas City for the national semifinals going on right now in the Final Four, double elimination Final Four tournaments for the Women's Bowling Championship. Again, the Penguins lose today to McKendree. They'll go into the losers bracket, and they'll take on the loser of the Arkansas State-Nebraska game, which is going on right now. The losers bracket will start, I believe, Ron said, at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Whoever wins that contest would then take on the loser of the McKendree match, where they face the winner of this morning's match between Arkansas State and Nebraska. So if the Penguins were to win in the first round in the losers bracket, they would then take on the loser of the McKendree match against the winner of this morning's Arkansas State and Nebraska match. If the Penguins were to win 2 consecutive matches in the losers bracket, they would be then in the national championship game against whoever survived the winners bracket. And right now, McKendree, the number 1 ranked team in the country, is 1 win away from being that team that would go into the national championship game undefeated. And again, if the team goes into the national championship game undefeated, then you must beat that team 2 times in order to win a championship coming out of the losers bracket. All right, let's talk some baseball. The head baseball coach of the Lowellville Rockets, Dan Doherty, joining me. Dan, how are you today, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you very much. And let's talk some baseball. Lowellville out of the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Scarlets here. Talk a little bit about the season to this point and how you guys are playing to this point, Coach.
Yeah, so we have started off a little slow right now. We are 0-5. We've had some close games that we've dropped 2 one-run games, 1 to Camel, 1 to Jackson Milton. So it's it hasn't been quite the start that we've wanted, but there's definitely some bright spots. Our pitching's done well. There's been games where the fielding's been really solid. Our bats are kind of lagging behind right now, which I guess is to be somewhat expected. With just starting the season off, typically you'll see the pitchers a little bit ahead of the game. But the weather's been nice. We're getting a lot of games in, and the whole slow start with the bats is kind of running out. So we got a few things to work on, but with the really young team, we're playing. We got 3 seniors, 2 juniors. Let's see, and we're heavy on the sophomore class. So there's going to be that learning curve with no JV team. We're bringing guys right to the varsity level. So some of this you got to be a little bit patient with, and just kind of keep improving. But yeah, 0-5 here to start things off.
Dan, obviously last year was a year that everyone can forget about with COVID destroying the spring season. And obviously, your senior class, the last time they played baseball, they were sophomores. The junior class, last time they played high school baseball, they were just freshmen. And the sophomores and freshmen, this is their first go-around of high school baseball. Are you finding yourself, thanks to 2020 being the season nobody played in, do you find yourself doing a lot more teaching this year than usual?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of something that me and our coaches talked about. Really, we kind of saw that early in the winter with different, whether it would be hitting or workouts, open gym type things. We knew that there was going to be a large, mental gap there that we needed to fill, because they haven't played in so long. And, baseball, there's so many different scenarios and things that you need to be ready for on every pitch that, the best way to, grasp all that is through repetition and getting games under your belt and, frankly, making mistakes from time to time and learning from it. So, yeah, it's definitely been a teaching environment lately. We've spent days on the whiteboard, almost like football or basketball, kind of just drawing up, the 9 fielders and from all aspects of the game. If the ball's hit here, here's where we need to back up. Here's where we need the cuts. And then we kind of do walkthroughs, where we kind of slow it up on a field, and then hopefully put it into, real action. But yeah, we have a lot of kids that really like the game and enjoy the game, maybe haven't played a ton, but the want and, they want to learn the ins and outs. So, that makes, things a little bit easier. It's not always going to be perfect, but knowing that we got kids that want to know and want to learn and want to get better, has made this teaching year, like you said, easier.
Well, experience is the best teacher, and obviously playing 27 games this year, especially if Mother Nature can hold up her end of the bargain, playing 27 games this year and getting shot in the tournament is going to help your team, especially the young kids that don't have any high school experience per se, and we're talking about the freshmen and sophomores. And obviously, getting on the field is the most important thing. But you made mention the fact you don't have a JV team this year. Are the kids that would be playing JV? Are all of those kids getting some time on the baseball field this year, Coach?
Yeah, frankly, yes. Like I said, we're pretty heavy sophomore. We got our largest class is, the 10th grade. So, we are in a position where our numbers aren't great. I think we're at like 14, and we have, an injury or two. And, we've had to pretty much throw some guys into the fire. I think some of that we were planning for, but, that's just kind of part of the learning curve that we're dealing with, being one of the smaller schools, that's something you just got to deal with and, try to make the most of. But, yeah, a JV team would be great, just to get those repetitions in. But, there's also some good stuff about getting, these young guys varsity experience by the time they, get into junior, senior year. They've already been there, and they've seen the good pitching. They've, won or lost close games. They know, what it's going to take by the time they get, into the upper classes.
Dan Doherty, the head baseball coach of the Lowellville Rockets, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Heavy sophomore class, but let's talk about the seniors. They provide the leadership. Let me hear some of these seniors that you've been relying on this year, Coach.
Yeah, so there's 3 seniors. We got our starting catcher, Cole Banofsky. He's a 3-sport kid. Really a good athlete, a good kid who's grown up a lot while he's been here, and he's probably our one of our main leaders. vocal, by example, all that. He's been really good behind the plate this year. I'm very happy with him. We have Francisco Rivera Ocasio. He is our first baseman. He's a baseball kid. He loves the game. Unfortunately, the last couple years he's dealt with some injuries, and then there was the COVID year. So he's a senior, and this is, it's been a while since he's been on the field regularly. So, even though he's a senior, there's still some inexperience there. But he's had a great winter, had a good start to the season, hardworking kid. And actually, his brother's with us as well. He's a freshman, talented kid. And then our third senior is Michael Malillo, who's in left field for us most days. Another kid that, he didn't come out until he was a sophomore. It had been a while since he had played, but I'm glad to have him. And he's, like Francisco, has had some good off seasons and really improved his game. He's a really good golfer. So we had to tweak a few things to get some of the golf tendencies out of his baseball swing. But Mike's been really good, and I'm lucky to have those three seniors.
Coach, let's talk about the league that you're in, the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Scarlets here. Just like the Greats here, they're brethren to the north, if you will. This league is competitive, top to bottom. Who are the teams that have impressed you most in this league to this point?
Well, we've played Jackson Milton twice, and we've played Springfield twice, and they're both really solid teams. Springfield, our first game against them, we faced Mitchell Seymour. He's a kid I know well, and he threw a no-hitter against us. He threw really well. Really impressed me. Their hitting, their fielding, and the pitching. And then Jackson Milton was a tough team. They have good pitching. I don't think made an error in 2 games against us. The first game was 1-0, really well pitched game from our guy, our one sophomore, Ricky Palumbo, and their pitcher, his name's escaping me at the moment, but Mason Robinson. So that was a 1-0 pitcher's duel early in the week, and then we had them Tuesday, and they got us pretty good down at Scene. So Jackson Milton's good. I mean, honestly, all these teams are really quality. We got Waterloo coming up next week. I know they're well coached. Sebring's coming up, McDonald, Ridge, and Western Reserve. Teams that, it doesn't matter if you're getting them on the Monday or Tuesday of the game weeks. They're going to have, at least 2 pitchers that can, throw strikes. They're going to bring it, probably not some off speed. So we're going to have to adjust here pretty quick because the schedule doesn't get any easier.
You get to play your home games at Scene Park in Struthers, the beautiful 3-field complex that the Scene family built just across the street, literally across the street from Astro Shapes in Struthers. Gorgeous facility for you guys.
Yeah, we are so lucky, and I've been saying that since this will be my, I guess, 3rd year doing this. As the baseball coach, I'm a teacher at Lowville, and we are very lucky to have Scene Park. And just in terms of other teams want to come there, it's a privilege for all of us to play there. So sometimes you end up getting more home games than perhaps some other schools. Just things get switched around, or a rain out, or somebody's field isn't ready. Then we can go down there. Also, practices, it's 3 minutes from our school. So it's, we've been outside a lot this year. Scene Park's great. Bob Beam, Steve Leslie, everybody down there is just great to work with. I've been very lucky, and the communication's been great. And our other kids, the other students of the school like to come out to the games, and, they get the music on Field 1 and the concession stand and everything. So it's helped our program a lot. I really am happy with playing our home games there.
Dan Doherty, the head coach of the Lowville baseball team, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. One of the things that Scene Park has, the batting cages, and Skip, you've been talking about how the team has struggled a little bit hitting the ball, and not too many teams have the pitching machines where you can, not have anybody throw the ball, but rather put a ball into a pitching machine, let them hit the ball. But the batting cages at Scene Park provide certainly a really nice opportunity, not just for you guys, but for the visiting team as well. It's certainly another feather in your cap with Scene Park as the home field for the Rockets.
Yeah, actually, I don't think we have the automated machines anymore. I remember I played about 10 years ago at Mooney, and we were down at the facility a lot, and they had the machines then. So, in a way, our coaches have kind of become the machines. We got to throw the BP, and we've all gotten good at it. But just having that indoor in general all winter, we get a ton of swings in, and we may not be seeing all the hits right now, but I'm hopeful that all that work's going to come around here soon.
Well, the one good thing about playing young kids, by the end of the year, I've often said if you have a freshman and a sophomore in the lineup consistently, by the end of the year, they're not freshmen and sophomores anymore. They've got the experience now where you can somewhat rely on them when the going gets tough. Yeah,
and that sophomore class, like I was saying, there is a lot of talented kids in there. We have our top pitcher and shortstop Ricky Palumbo that I mentioned. He's a sophomore. He threw, like I said, against Jackson Milton. Great game. I think it was 7 strikeouts just the other night. And we have our number 2 pitcher, Dylan Ocular, is a sophomore as well. He's a kid that's really improving, and he plays some infield as well. Really all over the field. Second base is a freshman, Pino Rivero Casio. Third base, we're with a junior right now, Brandon Simmons. We have a junior in center field, Justin Beeson. And then right field, and kind of our utility guy right now has been another sophomore, Brady Banofsky, our catcher's younger brother, Cole's younger brother.
Dan Doherty from Lowville joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Skip, before we let you go, let's give some credit to those assistant coaches that have been helping you through the early parts and through the rest of this 2021 baseball season.
Yeah, so we got Tom Beeson is with us. Tom has been coaching here at Lowville, I think, 9 years, and his son's our center fielder. Tom's been really helpful over the last few years. He's a great baseball guy. He's a Camel guy, and actually he won. He was part of that class of athletes at Camel that won state in in basketball and baseball the same year. So he's definitely got a lot of experience, and he's got all the good stories for the kids. And then we got Derek Pasquale, who's with me. He's a Boardman grad. He played for Coach Beam at Boardman, had a nice high school career. And then we got Nate Solak, who's a young guy, YSU student at the moment, but he was a really good athlete here at Lowville. Played a couple years ago, my first year here as an assistant, and Nate's been really helpful. So I'm lucky to have those guys, and we're kind of we're just kind of taking it day by day, and they've all been great. We get along great, communicate well, and try to improve on some things that we need to.
Well, the pieces are definitely there for Lowville to make a run in this division in the near future, and obviously just get the kids more experience in the field, and Lowville will definitely be a player in the MVAC Scarlet tier.
I hope so. That's hopefully the direction that we're headed.
Hey, Coach, all the best to you. Continued success, and let's go out there and have some fun the rest of the year.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate everything you guys at YSN are doing. For our kids, and for us going home, get to watch some of the other games or whatever the case, whatever the sport. You guys do a great job.
Appreciate that very much. Best of luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it. Dan Doherty, he is the head baseball coach of the Lowville Rockets. Young team. And, get some experience on that young team, and good things are going to happen. over at Lowville High School, and we'll see what transpires the rest of this 2021 campaign. All right, we'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Klim from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hubbard Chevrolet. Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Erin Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Had some baseball and some softball yesterday. The McDonald Blue Devils in a Scarlet Tier matchup with with Mineral Ridge, I beg your pardon. McDonald knocked off Mineral Ridge yesterday 6-1. Harding a winner over Niles 10-7. Columbiana went up to Liberty, a non-conference affair, as they knocked off the Leopards 12-4, despite 5 errors in the field by Columbiana. That's unheard. That doesn't happen very often. A Columbiana coach team having that many errors, but they get the victory nonetheless over Liberty 12-4. South Range continues their jaunt into Myrtle Beach. Solid win for the Raiders as they blow out Madison 24-1 in 5 innings. South Range is 5-1 on the campaign. That is a great start for the South Range Raiders. Softball action from yesterday. Boardman finally got to play on their home facilities. They beat Hubbard 2-1. Both teams are now 4-2 on the campaign. Columbiana girls shut out Western Reserve yesterday 10-0. Lakeview a winner over Liberty 19-3. Lakeview has a 4-2 record on the campaign. Sebring shuts out Cheney 16-0 in 5 innings. It was McDonald 7, Mineral Ridge 0. Another perfect game for Bree Callow. That is her second perfect game of the season. This one was a 7-inning job. This one was ultimately 1 strikeout. Actually, no, I take that back. 4 strikeouts from the ultimate perfect game. There's a perfect game, and then there's the ultimate perfect game. The ultimate perfect game is you strike out everybody. You don't give up a hit. You don't give up a walk. Nothing is put in play. You have struck out everybody. That doesn't happen. I don't think I've ever seen in high school. I don't think I've ever seen the ultimate 7-inning perfect game where it's 21 up, 21 down, all 21 struck out. I don't think I've ever seen that on the high school level, whether it be softball or baseball. But Bree Callow struck out 17 through a perfect game, 21 up, 21 down. 17 of the 21 were punched out. So only 4 balls were put into play the entire game. Bree Callow is having one amazing start to the campaign. McDonald 4-1 on the season. Girard scored 2 times in the top of the 7th inning to break a 2-2 tie. They knock off Crestview yesterday by the final score of 4-2. And South Range continues their jaunt through Myrtle Beach for the softball team as they knock off Bamberg Earharts by the score of 9-0. So South Range baseball and softball both doing quite well for themselves, thank you very much, as they're in South Carolina and having themselves a really productive week on both ends. Both the baseball and the softball team doing exceptionally well. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. We made mention at the top of the show, and again, many thanks to Ron Strollo, the Director of Intercollegiate Athletics for Youngstown State University. The YSU women are in the Final Four as they drew the top seed, McKendree, in the national semifinals, a double elimination national semifinals. So how this works is the winner of if you win 2 games, if you advance to the championship round by winning the semifinals and the championship game in the winner's bracket, then you have an unbelievably great advantage where that team would be undefeated, and the only way they don't win the national championship is if someone comes out of the losers bracket and beats the team out of the winners bracket 2 times. So McKendree defeated Youngstown State, and just a very impressive display of bowling for McKendree. The regular 5 bowlers bowling 1 game each. 1,145 pins were knocked down by McKendree, 954 for the Penguins. And then the Penguins were beaten in the Baker-style format, and that's where the first bowler bowls the first 2 frames. The second bowler bowls frames 3 and 4. The third bowler 5 and 6. The fourth bowler 7 and 8, and the anchor bowls the 9th and the 10th frames. McKendree was able to steamroll Youngstown State in the Baker's format as well. So they advance into the winners bracket. Youngstown State is going to go into the losers bracket. They will take on the winner of Arkansas State and Nebraska. And Ron Strollo made a really good point. It's not that the Penguins didn't bowl well. The Penguins bowled very, very well. They ran into an absolute buzzsaw. It just, I don't think I have ever seen that great of a display of bowling in a match, especially in the games 2 and 3 in the Baker's format. When you get off to such a really, really good start and you bowl strikes, the further along you're bowling consecutive strikes, the more pressure you're putting on the team that's ultimately behind you. And McKendree was doing such a great job of keeping the pressure put on. It was absolutely amazing to watch this team bowl. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal to see. And McKendree was the number 1 seed going into this. There's no question in my mind that there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed. That was just a dominant performance. And I have no doubt that this team will probably be in the national championship game. And by the way, the national championship game on Saturday night, it will be broadcast live on ESPNU. So for Youngstown State to get to the national championship game, well, they're going to have to win the next 2 matches. They will go up against the loser of today's matchup between Arkansas State and Nebraska. If the Penguins win that matchup, then the Penguins would take on the loser of the McKendree and the winner of the Nebraska-Arkansas State match. The loser of that match would play Youngstown State in the losers bracket championship to determine 3rd place in the NCAA bowling tournament. And then if the Penguins were to win 2 matches in a row, they would go into the national championship game, needing to win 2 more matches in a row in order to win the national championship. So in layman's terms, the Penguins are 4 matches, 4 consecutive wins away from a national championship. And it's difficult to do, but not impossible. Certainly not impossible. By the way, the Penguins, to get to the Final Four, they were undefeated. The same format in their Super Regional, it was their same format. 4 teams. If you win the first matchup in the semifinals, you go to the championship game and you're in the winners bracket. You win that, and then you're in the championship game of the Super Regionals, and the loser would have to beat you twice. Youngstown State swept through their Super Regional to get to the Final Four. Now, all of these matches have been taking place in Kansas City, and right now, as we said, the Penguins yesterday get into the Final Four by sweeping their Super Regional. Unfortunately, this morning and this afternoon, they have lost to McKendree, so they will go into the losers bracket for the first time. And now the Penguins need to win 4 consecutive matches in order to win a national championship in bowling. But let me repeat what I said earlier. This is the first time in my recollection in Division I history. Now, we're not talking 1AA. Obviously, the Penguins have won multiple championships in FCS, four of them to be exact, in college football. But to my knowledge, Youngstown State has never advanced to a Final Four in Division I sports, 1A. In 1A sports, to my knowledge, Youngstown State has never advanced into the Final Four in any sport in 1A. And this is an amazing accomplishment by the Penguins. An absolutely amazing accomplishment. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Former Cleveland Indian Trevor Bauer is, could be in a little hot water. Could be. Yesterday, he pitched against the Oakland Athletics, and the umpires, specifically the home plate umpire in that game, asked for a couple of Bauer's baseballs, a couple of the baseballs that Trevor Bauer had used. And look, it's no secret that Major League Baseball has a little bit of a mess on their hands. It's been going on for some time now. Pitchers have been doctoring the baseball. Look, you can go all the way back to, hell, when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, Gaylord Perry was known, blatantly known, for throwing a spitball. Now, proving it, that tended to be a little bit of a hard thing to do. But obviously, Commissioner Manfred is trying to crack down on the doctoring up of the baseball. I find it interesting that the first person that is looking to be targeted, if you will, would be the guy that has taken all kinds of shots at the commissioner, and that would be Trevor Bauer. Now, in fairness, Bauer opens his mouth a little too much. And even though he does, look, you got to have evidence to be able to nail someone on doctoring the baseball. In the past, you've seen pitchers that the home plate umpire would go out to the mound and they would check a player's uniform. They would check the bill of the cap. They would check the hair, the stuff behind the ears, and the uniform and whatnot. Empty the pockets, and then there would always be the interesting. How did this nail file get into my uniform pants? And you see guys getting caught red-handed, whether it's scuffing a baseball, doctoring a baseball up with sticky substance or something of that manner. Look, it's no secret. In today's modern technology, and everyone's talking about spin rates, there's a couple of guys that I'll use as an example. Bauer's one, Garrett Cole is another one. When Garrett Cole was in Pittsburgh, his spin rate was the 33rd percentile. In other words, he was in the bottom third, albeit barely, but in the bottom third of pitchers in Major League Baseball in terms of how much spin he got on his pitches. When he went to Houston, he became a pitcher in the 90th percentile, 90th and 95th percentile in this category. You can draw your own conclusions on that, given the fact that Houston has already been proven to have cheated, albeit Major League Baseball didn't do anything in the 2017 campaign, but they've been proven to have cheated their way to a World Series championship. You can take that for what it's worth. Trevor Bauer, when he left Cleveland, was not among the higher-ups in the spin rate category. Went to Cincinnati. His spin rate went up considerably. Just throwing that out there. Again, one of the I honestly believe one of the other reasons. All right, he's said a little too much, and we're going to target him. Now, does that make it right? No, it doesn't. If the guy says something that you shouldn't target him. Now, having said that, Major League Baseball pretty much needs to right now, before this gets way out of hand, stand up and say this is not the commissioner's call, this is the umpire's call. Because it is. Now, the commissioner can tell the home plate umpire and the umpires, hey, we are looking for balls that could be doctored. And if you see something that you don't like, I want those baseballs taken out of play, and I want those baseballs to be brought back to us. And we're going to examine them. So those baseballs that Trevor Bauer used yesterday in his start against the Oakland Athletics, those baseballs are now heading back to New York City for their investigation, which should be entertaining. All right, let's get to the phone lines. He's a little bit early, but we'll talk some baseball with the head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils, Jeff Jackson. Coach, how are you today?
Good, Ron. Very good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. All right, Camel baseball. And, Coach, years on end, I remember as a kid cutting my teeth broadcasting Camel Red Devils baseball. And this was the heyday of Camel Red Devils baseball, where they were a fixture deep into the district tournaments and sometimes in the regional, and every so often they went to the state tournament. A lot of tradition back in the day with the Camel Red Devils. As you are taking this team over and have taken this team over, do you sense that tradition of greatness that Camel brought to the table in the 1990s and in the early 21st century?
Yes, I'm trying to bring this back. These kids know the tradition that we've had. They see it hanging from the rafters in that gym that we have, that back-to-back basketball and the baseball state championship that they won. We tell that to them every day. We try to get them focused and just bring it every day. We want that to be brought back to Camel. When you folks come over them two bridges into our city, we want them nerves to be back like it was back in the day.
Coach, do you get an opportunity to get some of those kids that are now adults? Do some of them come back and talk to the kids about what it took to get to the regionals and the state tournament and winning a state championship?
Yeah, I have two or three of them that come back and talk to us all the time. I do have Kenny Turpak on my staff this year. I'm glad to see him back. He wants to do a lot for the city of Camel, give back. And, they do come back and talk. I'm trying to get Mr. Wayne Zetz maybe to come in and talk later on in the year once we get these nerves out and let him focus on these kids and see what he has to bring.
Coach Jeff Jackson, the head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils. All right, that's a history, a past history of greatness for Camel. Let's talk about 2021 and the Camel Red Devils. You guys are in the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference gray tier, and boy, oh boy, is there some really good baseball in the gray tier. Let's talk about how you have progressed to this point, where you guys are, and how the league has been for you guys to this point.
Well, we are 5-2. We have a good start. We ran into a little buzzsaw with Crestview, 5 games in 4 days, and we caught up to them. So that's what hurt us in them 2 games. But playing the next 2 weeks, we got Liberty, Champion, and Newton Falls. So this is going to show us a lot of character, and I believe my kids are ready. The pitching staff, I have 6 pitchers, and once one pitches, the other one goes to his spot. So I have the defense behind these pitchers. We just have to cut down on some balls and strikes and a couple errors, and I think we'll be ready for Liberty champion in Newton Falls and LeBray, because that's our final end of the season. That's a tough bump there.
Coach, you talked about the fact you have 6 pitchers, and a lot of programs would kill for 6 pitchers. That is quite the depth that you have on the hill.
Yeah, we have Colin Michaels is my senior. He's throwing really, really well these last 3 games. Zach Luciano plays down at Scene a lot, so he's my second pitcher. Then I got the younger ones behind him to round that off. Anthony Candinas has given us some good arms. James Sugar has been throwing some strikes for 2-3 innings when we need him. We have a freshman, DeJuan Reynolds. He's promising. He's going to be a really strong player. He's my leadoff hitter as a freshman, and he's my second baseman, and he does throw at the end of the games too. So that's all helps us a lot.
Coach, obviously, pitching is a big part of this game. You made mention of the defense, and my ears perked up when you said, hey, when the pitcher is done, he goes to his position. That tells me you have some premium defense out there as well.
Yeah, we have been missing our center fielder, Jacob Jackson. He pulled a groin in basketball, so he's been out for 8 weeks. He came back one game. We put him in. I believe it was against Brookfield. He went 2 for 3, made some catches in the outfield, but after that injury, he's a little sore, so I'm going to sit him until the Liberty champion in Newton Falls. But, yeah, these kids play multiple positions, center, right, left, first. That's good that they do that, because I could put them anywhere, and I feel confident anywhere I put them. So that's a good thing.
Camel baseball coach Jeff Jackson joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach, I made mention, and it's no secret, last year a lost year for everyone in the Mahoning Valley and across the state of Ohio. Is it a more teachable moment for you, or do you have enough juniors and seniors who had previous varsity experience where you don't have to teach nearly as much?
No, I do have to teach much. I have multiple athletes, track, basketball, and baseball, and we don't get them like we want to, in and out, all the time. Just a baseball player, just a basketball player. So we have to teach them a lot more. I have 4 of them that play down at Scene, and their at bats down there, it really helped them. I see it this year. Kenny Turpak sees it. He's down there looking at the kids. I'm down there looking at them, and but yeah, we have to go over fundamentals every day, just so they don't slack at that level.
It's interesting, the summer league, B League baseball, and not every school has multiple kids playing in the B League, but those that do, it's such a great tool for these kids when they come back and play high school baseball, playing B League ball. Boy, that really gets kids ready for high school baseball the next year.
Yeah, they are. There are some good players down at Scene, and every year they're getting stronger and stronger down there. Our past coach that I coached under, Kenny Cranock, he's down at Scene with the Avalanche, and I see just the talent that's going to be there with him this year, and the talent is there, and as long as these kids go down there and play and play and play and get their reps, they're going to be strong for us in high school. So, I only have 3 seniors this year. Everybody else is young, so and they're tight knit. I got six of my starters play and start basketball, so they know what we want and what we need in Camel.
You made mention you have 3 seniors on your team, telling me that really good times are coming up very, very soon for the Camel baseball team. But let's talk about these 3 seniors that you have.
I have Colin Michaels. He's a 4-year starter. He's a 3-year starter in basketball. He's our leader. If somebody gets out of line, he knows how to get them back in line the right way. There's no yelling. He just looks at them, tells them what they need to do, and he does it. Harry Echeverria is our catcher. He's a senior. It's the first time I've had him behind the plate this year. I had to find find somebody, and he stepped up to be a catcher. And John Alexander, he's with us. He's a good gel on this team. So them three seniors really help us out a lot.
Jeff Jackson, the head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. You told me about one of your assistant coaches who had a really, really nice career in high school ball and went on and played major college baseball, and Kenny Turpak. Tell me some of the other assistant coaches that you have, Skip.
Well, I have Mike Kaser. He played with my son back in the day, 5-6 years ago. He's a young one. He's from Lowville. And he's with my pitchers. He's getting these kids' arms set. There's a lot of work with these kids' arms. We found out last year, before we had to get shut down with COVID, that we had a couple sore arms here and there, and we just wanted to know why. So we looked into it and everything. So we got to work on getting these guys' arms not sore all the time. I know they go to the outfield, then they go to short, then they pitch. And they have to make that long throw. But we have to just figure that out. But Mike Kaser's doing a heck of a job. And, of course, with Kenny Turpak with the hitting and the first basemen and the catchers, I'm glad he's back with us also because he's got a lot to give.
Coach, you made mention of the sore arms, and you're certainly not the first school that is dealing with this. The fact that you didn't have high school baseball in 2020, is that playing a major role in what's going on right now?
I do believe that. I mean, some of these guys are going to trainers and, hitting barns and doing it all year. But, I think it does happen that way. I mean, we have a smaller group. They're not massive, strong guys, but you don't have to be. You just have to be tough-nosed and get to that point where you could just know that you're going to do whatever you have to do.
The head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils joining me, Jeff Jackson, on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. We talked a little bit about the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Gray Tier. I had said before baseball season started, I was really looking forward to this particular tier of the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference because historically, Camel's always been a really solid baseball team. Crestview through the last 10 years or so has been a nightmare for opposing teams. Liberty and Newton Falls and Champion, the list goes on. There's some really good Division III baseball being played in this conference.
Yes, this conference is really strong. We know Liberty has some really good arms and three good coaches over there. Champion's always champion. And Newton Falls and LeBray, same difference. We just have to go in there without making mistakes. The first 7 games, first, second, third, fourth inning, we're in with everybody. Something comes and goes awry on that 5th, 6th inning. So we have to solve that little problem that we have there. I think it's just focusing, and we went over that in practice this week. And on a nice sunny day today, I'll be at Roosevelt Park and with practice, and we'll focus on that for Saturday's game.
Coach, I'm glad you brought up your home ballpark.
Yes,
way back in the day, I cut my teeth doing high school baseball before I ventured out of town to do some stuff in pro baseball. And my goodness, you guys are so blessed to have a really nice ballpark in Roosevelt Park.
Yeah, we know what we have at Roosevelt Park, even on the Little League side. I'm the president of Little League, too, in my city, so I see everybody from, 4 years old all the way up to 18. This team I have now, I coached them when they were 9 years old, 10, 11, and I warned them, and I was going to be their coach, and, I am now. But Roosevelt Park is a gem. We're doing everything we can and to get that field back into shape. I dug up the infield this year. Me and Kenny Cranock, we dug it up, planted new grass. We're waiting for that to grow in. Hopefully next week, it should be ready to go. Last year during COVID, I had 40 AA games up at Roosevelt Park, and that was my goal. That's what I want. I don't want 68 years of baseball in the city of Camel to go down the tubes. And I just can't wait till it's ready to go this year and we get back on our home field. We have to go to play down the scene until my grass grows up there. But next week, it should be ready to go.
Coach, obviously, that says it all in the tradition of Camel Red Devils baseball. The tradition includes that magnificent ballpark. And, I'm glad that you brought up the fact that that you're in charge and the president of the Camel Little League. And, as the head baseball coach for the high school team, boy, that's really giving you an opportunity to see what is coming up on the horizon in terms of really good baseball for you as these kids get older and hopefully stay in the Camel School District.
Yeah, they are. We don't lose too many on the baseball end of it. Basketball we'll probably lose a little bit, go to other schools, and football, but not the baseball end. We do have low numbers in our Little League, but so does Struthers, so does Lowville. That's why we combined and make teams, and then we go to Poland, we go to Boardman and play them. And even our pony teams, we combine them, and we do good at the pony level and the colt level when we do combine and go there. But, I see the numbers dwindling a little bit, but I am there. And so that's why we're going to fix this and get this turned around really well. We have a brand new facility behind the elementary school, CWLCC, and there's 4 volleyball courts there, 2 basketball courts. I got 2 hitting cages, 2 pitching machines, 10 tees. So I just want to warn them, when this weather breaks and goes to cold, we're going to be in that gym hammering them tees and batting cages and pitching mounds, that's for sure.
The head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils, Jeff Jackson, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. One of the things that I'm now becoming pretty much aware of is the fact that 2 things. Number one, you're all about Camel, and that is such a huge feather in the cap for the Camel Red Devils to have someone in charge of the, regardless of the sport, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, tiddlywinks, it doesn't matter. A guy that or a gal that is Camel first to be in charge of their program, that's huge. More importantly, you not only know about the history of baseball in the city of Camel, you respect the history, and you don't want that history to be dead on arrival anytime soon. And that's one of the many reasons why I wish you nothing but success. And I hope that between you and Coach Turpak and when you get Wayne Zetz to talk about the greatness that was Camel baseball back in his day, I hope you get through to those kids and bring that tradition back, because boy, Camel baseball was really fun to watch back in the day, and I look forward to seeing that day when Camel is, and you guys are already off to a great start. I look forward to seeing Camel back at that level again very soon.
Yeah, we will get back there, and I appreciate everything that you're saying, Ron, and appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate everything you're doing as well. I can't wait to see Roosevelt Park. Let me know when the park is in good shape. I want to get back there and check out a couple of games over there.
Yeah, we'll let you know. It's probably going to, whenever AA starts, probably at the end of April, I would think, probably May, they're going to be up there, and I'll let you know when we're there.
That sounds good, Coach. All the best to you, sir.
Ron, thank you. Bye.
You got it. Jeff Jackson, he is the head baseball coach of the Camel Red Devils. Like I said, when I was cutting my teeth doing baseball games on terrestrial radio in the mid-'90s, Camel was really, really good. We're talking state caliber good. And I hope, fingers crossed, I hope Camel gets back to that level, because I just love the fact that they have someone that is that invested in baseball in the city, where he's in charge of the Little League. That's just a great feather in the cap for the Camel Red Devils for sure. So best of luck to Jeff Jackson and the Camel Red Devils. All right, we know who YSU bowling team will be playing. Arkansas State lost in their first round with Nebraska. So the Penguins will hook up against Arkansas State at 4 p.m. They'll look to stay alive in this elimination Final Four, double elimination bowling extravaganza. Youngstown State is in the losers bracket, having lost to McKendree. They lost in the Baker's Point. This was 5 matches. The Penguins wound up losing in the Baker's Point, 1241 to 1,039. So the Penguins lost that format, and they lost the traditional format, 1145 to 954. They lost to McKendree, who is the top seed in the Final Four. So McKendree will play Nebraska in the winners bracket. Youngstown State is going to play Arkansas State in the losers bracket. Now, the loser of this game will finish in 4th place in the NCAA Final Four. The winner of this game will move on and play the loser of the McKendree-Nebraska matchup. And I would imagine that they would do that tomorrow. Tomorrow during the day, they would take on the loser of McKendree and Nebraska. And then if the Penguins were to win that game, or that match, I should say, then they would be in the national championship game against the winner of the McKendree and Nebraska match. And again, the winner of the McKendree-Nebraska match is going to be sitting really, really pretty because they'll be undefeated, clearly. They'll be undefeated, and the only way they lose the national championship were if someone were to come out of the losers bracket and beat them 2 times in a row. So Youngstown State, in layman's terms, they are going to have to win 4 matches in a row in order to win the national championship. That's where Youngstown State is now because they lost to McKendree in the opening round of the Final Four. Youngstown State will now have to win 4 consecutive matches. They'll have to beat Arkansas State, beat the loser of the McKendree-Nebraska game, and then beat the winner of the McKendree-Nebraska game twice to win a national championship. But as I said before, to my knowledge, other than the football team, and this was not 1A, the football team won 4 national championships, but in 1AA, or as we now know it, FCS. To my knowledge, there has never been a Division 1A YSU team in any sport that is playing in the Final Four. To my knowledge, that has never happened. This is definitely a first. And as we made mention a couple of days ago, the Youngstown State women were poised to go into the NCAA tournaments last year, but COVID wrecked the whole process. Before the tournament teams were announced, they had already canceled the rest of the season because of what COVID did. So this year, it's kind of ironic that Youngstown State gets into the NCAA regionals. They win their super regional, get into the Final Four, and now here they are, 4 matches away, 4 victories away, 4 match victories away from winning a national championship. So that's where we are with YSU bowling. All right, we'll get an update on the Masters, and we will talk other things on this Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristатeford.net.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. There's some rain in the forecast out in Milwaukee, where the YSU baseball team is set to start a 4-game series with second place on the line in the Horizon League. The Penguins will play Milwaukee in a doubleheader today, being that there is rain in the forecast. Game 1 will be 7 innings in length. Game 2 will be 9 innings in length. Game time is set for 4 o'clock this afternoon in Milwaukee. 4 o'clock this afternoon, game 1 of the series will be a 7-inning doubleheader. One would expect Colin Floyd will be pitching in game number 1. He normally pitches in the 7-inning game, being that it's a golden opportunity for him to pitch a complete game, and therefore the bullpen is completely fresh, and you can do whatever you need to do in game number 2. So you can expect Colin Floyd to pitch the first game of this doubleheader. Again, the Penguins just one game in back of second place Milwaukee in the Horizon League. As you look at the standings right now, Wright State is showing the way. Wright State has a record of 13-3, or at least coming into today, they were 13-3 in the Horizon League standings. The Milwaukee team 10-6, 3 games off the pace. YSU 9-7, currently 4 games off the pace. UIC swept a doubleheader from Northern Kentucky today. So UIC is 9-9 on the campaign. Northern Kentucky is 8-10. Purdue Fort Wayne is 6-10. Oakland is currently 3-13. I believe Wright State is playing Oakland, if I am not mistaken, and I'm looking at the schedule. No, they're playing the Mastodons. I beg your pardon. No, they are playing Oakland. And actually, let me take this back. They were to have played the Mastodons. Wright State has a COVID issue, apparently, because they have not only canceled this weekend against Purdue Fort Wayne, they have canceled next weekend against Oakland as well. So Wright State is not going to be in action again until the 23rd of April, when they open up a series against Northern Kentucky. And from what I understand, I don't believe any of these 8 games are going to be made up. The league policy is that you're not supposed to be making any of these games up. So I'm assuming the next 8 games, Wright State's not playing till the 23rd of April. And boy, that's a huge development in the Horizon League and the Horizon League standings. Wright State will not play baseball for a couple of weeks. One would assume that they have a COVID issue, being that they have canceled their next 2 weeks worth of baseball games. We made mention UIC sweeping a doubleheader from Northern Kentucky, as they won both games by the score of 15-11. They are playing another doubleheader today against Northern Kentucky. So UIC 9-9 on the campaign. Purdue Fort Wayne was to have played Wright State, so they're not going to be playing baseball at all today. They are 6-10 on the campaign. And Oakland this week, I believe they are to be playing Valparaiso, but that series has been canceled. So the series against Valpo has been canceled, and the series against Wright State has been canceled. So Oakland is not going to be playing baseball for the next couple of weeks. Very tough situation there. And again, the top 4 teams go to the Horizon League tournament, where it'll be double elimination, similar to the Final Four format that the YSU women's bowling team is doing. The top seed would play the 4 seed, the 2 plays the 3. The winners of the game move into the winners bracket championship round. The losers go into the loser bracket, where you basically would have to win 4 games in a row in order to get out of the tournament and win the tournament and go on to the NCAA field of 64. But that's certainly down the road. So Milwaukee will play Youngstown State in a doubleheader today, beginning at 4 o'clock. Again, this was not supposed to be the schedule. It was supposed to be a single game today, a doubleheader on Saturday, and a single game on Sunday. But there is rain in the forecast, so they decided to do the doubleheader today. So game 1 of the doubleheader is 7 innings in length. Game 2 of the doubleheader, 9 innings in length. It is a 4 o'clock start over in the suburbs of Milwaukee, actually Franklin, Wisconsin, to be exact. But Milwaukee will host Youngstown State. Second place is on the line in the Horizon League as second place Youngstown State plays third place. Second place Milwaukee plays third place Youngstown State in a doubleheader today. And hopefully Penguins win at least 3 games and they vault themselves into second place in the Horizon League. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Made mention of the fact Major League Baseball is trying to get a handle on the doctoring of the baseball that's been going on. And truth be told, it's been going on forever and a day. This is certainly not new, but in the new era of baseball where the technology is now starting to start doing terminology that you didn't normally hear a few years back. Spin rate is one of the terms that is used in terms of the effectiveness of a pitcher. The more spin rate, the more the ball is moving around, and certainly if you can get a lot of spin rate on your breaking balls, i.e. the curveball, the slider, you're going to get a lot more action, movement action with that pitch. And because modern technology is now able to detect how quick or how slow the spin rate is, Major League Baseball is now starting to figure out a way where they could possibly start nailing some of the pitchers that are doctoring up the baseball. Now, there's a lot of ways to doctor up the baseball. I mean, it's a million different ways to do it, and truth be told, it may not just be the pitcher that is doing it. The catcher can do it. Some other folks can do it as well. But keeping it basically trying to nail the pitcher on this because he's the one that's throwing the baseball. The Major League Baseball trying to curtail this. And yesterday, former Indian Trevor Bauer pitched a game against Oakland, and by all accounts, he did a pretty decent job. I believe he struck out 10 in 5 2/3 innings or somewhere thereabouts. Gave up a couple of runs. I think Oakland won the game in extra innings. Bauer got a no decision. Neither here nor there. The part of the game that is now getting a lot of story, during the game, the home plate umpire confiscated a couple of baseballs that Trevor Bauer had used. The home plate umpire confiscated those baseballs because he believed that this baseball or these baseballs that were being used could possibly have been doctored up. So they are sending these baseballs to New York City, where the commissioner's office is going to take a look, and some possible sanctions could be in play for this. Now, I made mention that there's a way to slow this down considerably, if not stop it altogether. Now, stopping it altogether, I don't know. You can slow it down considerably, though. And it's the same kind of formula that you would use with the players that are caught with steroids, only this has a little bit of a twist to it. Strike number one, it would be a 3-strike format. Strike number one, now in steroids, you're gone for half of the year. 80 games, no pay, you're suspended, and you're probably going to get a crap load of steroid tests, HGH, whatever. You're going to get a crap load of tests from here on out because you've already been caught elbow deep in the cookie jar one time. But the first offense for the steroid users, 80-game suspension. Second offense is 1-year suspension. And the third offense is hasta la vista, you're out of Major League Baseball. Using that, I wouldn't necessarily say half of the season for the pitcher. But I would go 30-day. 30-day suspension, no pay. Far less than the first strike for the steroid users, but there's a reason, and I'll get to it in a little bit here. Strike 2 would be a year suspension, no pay. Strike 3, you're out of here. You're done with Major League Baseball. You're expelled. The twist in this is, which I think would certainly get everyone's attention. Now, let me just flat out say, there's no way in hell this would happen. Mainly because the Players Union, which is the strongest union in all of sports, would never hear of it. But if you're Major League Baseball, i.e. Rob Manfred, you want to get people's attention. So the best way to get someone's attention is to really drop the hammer on someone who's doing this. And the way to do it is to also take away the other guy that there's a 99% chance he knows what's going on. And that would be the pitcher's partner in crime behind the plate, the catcher. Now, you only take him out in strike 1. So not only is your pitcher out for 30 days, so is your starting catcher. They're both gone for 30 days. Now, if that doesn't slow this down considerably or puts a halt to it, I don't think anything will. But if you consider the fact, hey, if you get caught, not only are you out for 30 games, we're also losing our starting catcher for 30 days. I don't want any of you guys doing any of this crap. All of a sudden, there's a pretty good chance that this gets halted or it gets slowed down considerably if you do that. Now, obviously, you're not going to take the catcher out for a whole year or expel the catcher if the pitcher keeps doing this. But by putting the catcher involved in this, and let's be honest, the catcher is involved in this because he's the guy that's catching the ball from the pitcher. And let's really be honest, there's a 99% chance the catcher knows what's going on when a pitcher's throwing a doctored ball. Let's be honest here. Not saying that he's behind it, but there's a 99% chance that he knows of it. If you kick both of them out for 30 games, or 30 days, that really gets the attention. Now, like I said, there's no way the players union would go for this. But if Major League Baseball wanted to pretty much put a halt to this, that's how you do it. And like I said, Rob Manfred, he's got a mess on his hands, and this is going to be interesting to see how he does this. I thought it was really interesting. The guy that has basically been on his case, and as of, I want to say 3 days ago, almost a week ago, I beg your pardon. About a week ago, Bauer went off on Rob Manfred for the punishment that was given to Nick Castellanos. If you didn't see it, Cincinnati played St. Louis on opening weekend, and Castellanos was suspended for 2 games. He had been hit by a pitch, and Castellanos was not a happy camper when he was hit by a pitch. And there were some words that were said. He was chirping up the first base line. The pitcher was chirping on the mound. There was a couple of side glances and some other stuff going on. And Yadier Molina, the Cardinals' future Hall of Fame catcher, was pretty much making sure that Castellanos knew, hey, we weren't trying to hit you. But later in the inning, a wild pitch with Castellanos on third base, a wild pitch ensued. Castellanos came barreling into home plate. He slid in front of the pitcher who was taking the throw, and as he scored, he did a flex pose as the pitcher was on the ground, trying to get the throw from Molina. He was on a knee, trying to get the throw from Molina, trying to put the tag on Castellanos, and it was too late. Castellanos then decided to do a little flex pose, which is pretty much the equivalent of saying in your face and rubbing a little bit of dirt on your face, showing the pitcher up in response to what he believed was, I got hit on purpose. So he did that, and Rob Manfred said, yeah, you're done for 2 games. Now, look, truth be told, Castellanos shouldn't have been suspended for 2 games. That's absurd. I mean, in the National Football League, the best that this person gets is a 15-yard penalty and probably gets talked to after the game, but you didn't get suspended. He shouldn't have been suspended. Now, you want to lighten his wallet by a couple of $1,000s? I get no problems with that. Because, frankly, I don't like any of that stuff. And I don't think it should be. I don't think it's part of the game where you do crap like that. It shouldn't be part of the game. Now, having said that, like I said, shouldn't have been suspended. But Bauer went he went nuts on the commissioner, saying, I guess that we're not allowed to show any emotion on the field, blah, 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 blah. And isn't it interesting that, I don't know, about 3 or 4 days later, a couple of Trevor Bauer baseballs that may or may not be doctored are now in possession of the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, and we will see what happens. But, yeah. Listen, this is not something that is just starting. It's been going on forever and a day. I mean, go back to good Lord, you can go back to the 1919 Black Sox. Prior to the live ball, I think that was the last year of the dead ball era, where guys weren't hitting home runs and the ball was mush. It wasn't a regular baseball that you see today. It was a ball that was just mush. But back then, there were guys on the Chicago White Sox team that Eddie Seacock, in particular, threw what was known as a shine pitch. He had all kinds of substances on the outer thigh of his uniform, and he would rub the baseball on the substance on the outer thigh, and the ball would just dance all over the place. So it goes back a long, long time. This isn't something new. I mean, Major League Baseball has had this problem. Hell, there's a guy in the Hall of Fame that is in the Hall of Fame because of an illegal pitch, Gaylord Perry. Now, back in the day, he used to throw a pretty good fastball, but toward the end of his career and through most of his career, he used a spitball, and very rarely was he caught. And I think the psychological aspect of it was hilarious, especially when he was an Indian, and everyone and their brother wanted him to be suspended for doctoring a baseball, but nobody could ever prove it. But it'll be interesting to see what Major League Baseball does here. It will be really entertaining to see what Major League Baseball is going to do. But like I said, anything resembling a hammer dropping that I've suggested probably won't happen, because the players union would never go for it. And you obviously have to do a couple of things to clear this through the most powerful union in all of sports. And, I don't think that Manfred... Look, let me put it to you this way. The end of the 2021 season, Rob Manfred has a fight on his hands because they're looking for a brand new labor agreement, and they're nowhere close to one. He does not want another fight on his hands if he drops the hammer to what I've suggested, which, again, in a perfect world, not only do you nail the starting pitcher for 30 days, you also nail the catcher. See how fast that crap stops if you nail both the pitcher and the catcher. The other 29 teams are going to look at this and say, we're out of business in terms of throwing illegal pitches, because there is no way in hell I want our starting catcher eliminated for 30 games or 30 days. That's absurd. So that would stop it in a hurry. But like I said, there's no way the Players Association would ever go for that. So it is what it is. All right, we get a Masters update coming up in a bit. Stick around. It is a Friday edition of Running Points. Coming up at the top of the hour, Greg Goulas will be calling in on the program. We have news on the construction of the bronze statue that is going to be coming into the Mahoning Valley, the bronze statue of Shotgun Shuba shaking hands with Jackie Robinson, something that took place 75 years ago later this month in Montreal during Jackie Robinson's first game on opening day of the minor league baseball season with the Montreal Royals. We'll talk with Greg Gullis about this statue and the significance of that statue coming up at the top of the hour. Stick around, more to come on this Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes!
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will chat with Greg Gullis. Get a little Masters update for you. Jason Kokrak is almost complete with round number 2 of the Masters. It would look like Jason is going to make the cut. Now, he still has 2 holes left, and he still has some work to do. He is 3 over for the day. Believe it or not, Jason was actually in really good shape through 4 holes today. Kokrak was 1 under after the first round, and he was 2 under for the tournament after 4 holes. 1 under for the day, 2 under for the tournament, and then back-to-back double bogeys on the 5th and 6th hole knocked him into oblivion as he wound up going 3 over for the day, 2 over for the tournament. He got to 1 over for the tournament with a birdie on the 8th hole. Back-to-back bogeys on the 11th and 12th hole put him to 3 over par. A birdie on 13 got him to 2 over. A bogey on 14 got him to 3 over. And a birdie on 15 got him back to 2 over. He is on the 17th hole right now. So he has 2 holes left. He is 3 over for the day, 2 over for the tournament. Right now, the cut line is at 3 over par. So right now, Jason is barely in the weekend field. What he needs to do is hang on for dear life in these final 2 holes and don't bogey or double bogey any of these holes. Right now he's 2 over through 16 holes, and that puts him 1 shot under the cut line, which is good. He would play this weekend, and when we had Brian Tolnar on Wednesday, when we talked about the Masters, Brian Tolnar made mention that the goal for Jason Kokrak today or this weekend, the goal for Kokrak should be, hey, go out there and try very hard to make the cut. And if he is able to make the cut, then he should be in good shape. And like I said, right now he's 2 over, 16 holes in. He is on the 17th hole at 2 over par, and right now 3 over is the cut line. So unless Jason goes 2 over in these final 2 holes, he should be playing this weekend. Now, unfortunately, he is a ways back as Justin Rose is leading this tournament. He is 6 under through 14. So Jason's 8 shots off the pace. He is 8 shots in back of the leader in the Masters tournament. So he probably not going to win this tournament unless he is insanely good the final 2 days. It would appear that Kokrak is probably not winning this tournament. But like we said, if you can make the cut and play Saturday and Sunday and get into the money, that would be a big victory for a guy that's only played 2 times at Augusta. Last year was the first time that Kokrak appeared at Augusta, and that was last fall because they didn't have the Masters in the springtime because of COVID. They didn't have the Masters until November. So Jason failed to make the cut his first appearance in the Masters last fall. Here he is in the second appearance, and he is near the cut line. So hopefully he'll be able to sneak in and get into the money this weekend. But he's 2 over for the tournament, 3 over for the day, and currently on the 17th hole. We will keep you updated. As I made mention a little while back, the Penguins will be playing a doubleheader with Milwaukee today in baseball. Some inclement weather in the forecast. This was originally to be a single game on Friday, doubleheader on Saturday, single game on Sunday. Because of the inclement weather, they're doing a doubleheader today. So game 1 will start at 4 o'clock. Game 1 will be a 7-inning affair. You can expect Colin Floyd to toe the slab for the Penguins in game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 2 will be a 9-inning affair, and then you'll have a single game 9-inning affair on Saturday. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, and a single game 9-inning affair on Sunday. Again, hopefully the weather will cooperates. Second place on the line in the Horizon League baseball standings, as the Penguins are just 1 game in back of second place Milwaukee. And the big story of this weekend is the fact that Wright State is not playing baseball for the next 2 weeks. Apparently Wright State has come into contact with COVID, and their series with the Mastodons from Purdue Fort Wayne is out, as well as their series with Oakland. So Wright State will not be playing baseball until April the 23rd. So they're off for the next 2 weekends because of a COVID outbreak at Wright State University. So unfortunately for the Wright State Raiders, who currently lead the Horizon League, they're not playing baseball for a couple of weeks. And the Penguins, they could very well gain some ground on the first place Wright State Raiders these next couple of weeks, being that Wright State won't be playing any baseball. So hopefully one step at a time. Hopefully, the Penguins take 3 out of 4 from Milwaukee, and by doing so, the Penguins would take over second place in the Horizon League standings. And again, the top 4 teams will go to the Horizon League tournament. One other thing before we take a break and bring in Greg Gulas, as we made mention this morning, and about 15, 20 minutes into the broadcast, McKendree, the top seed in the NCAA Final Four in women's bowling, they drew Youngstown State in the first round. McKendree defeated Youngstown State in the first round of the Final Four. This is a double elimination tournament that sends YSU into the losers bracket, where they will play Arkansas State. The winner of this game moves on. The loser of this game will have 4th place in the NCAA Final Four. Final Four going on right now. Again, the Penguins in the losers bracket after losing this morning and early this afternoon to a really, really good McKendree bowling team. McKendree will play Nebraska in the winners bracket. The winner of that game will be sitting really pretty. The winner of that game will be undefeated, and the only way they don't win a national championship is if the team they play in the national championship game beats them not once but twice. If they beat them twice, then the losers bracket, the team coming out of the losers bracket would win the national championship. So McKendree and Nebraska sitting really pretty right now. Whoever wins their contest is going to be in great, great shape. By the way, the national championship bowling match will take place on Saturday night on ESPNU. So fingers crossed. Penguins are 2 matches away, 2 victorious matches away from taking part in the national championship game. So fingers crossed, hoping that the Penguins will indeed get to the national championship on Saturday night on ESPNU. But in order to do so, they will have to knock off Arkansas State this afternoon. Those 2 teams will bowl this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Whoever wins will take on the loser of the McKendree and Nebraska game. I'm assuming they're going to do that on Saturday morning. I'm assuming they do that Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then the winner of that game would play whoever wins the McKendree-Nebraska game for the national championship, and that would be televised on ESPNU. All right, we'll take a timeout. Greg Gulas coming up next. We'll talk with Greg, and we'll talk about this beautiful bronze statue that is going to be coming to Youngstown very shortly. Stick around, more to come.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back on this Friday edition of Running Points, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. In 9 days, it will be the 75th anniversary of a handshake that changed the landscape of Major League Baseball. And, well, there's a twist to this. One of the people that was shaking the hand was someone from the Mahoning Valley. And why do we bring this up? Well, we bring this up because we're bringing in our guest who is in charge, or one of the people in charge, of putting together a bronze statue of this handshake. He is Greg Gulas, a friend of the show. And, good Lord, Greg, you and I have known each other better part of 40-plus years?
You're showing your age now, Ron.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but
you just did, but that's okay.
But we've certainly known each other for a little while. I mean, Greg, you're a historian of the game, and what makes this this project that you folks are doing so special is this handshake that took place on April 18th, 1946 in Montreal, the opening day of the Montreal Royals season, the AAA affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I take that back, the then Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie Robinson had just signed a contract to become the first black player to appear in a professional baseball game other than the Negro Leagues. His first at-bat, he hits a home run. The guy on deck.
Second at-bat.
Okay, I stand corrected. Second at-bat, he hits a home run, and the on-deck hitter happens to be George Shuba from Youngstown, Ohio. George Shuba shakes the hand of Jackie Robinson. That changes the landscape of baseball the way we know it today.
Well, that's right, Ron. And I think you have to thank Branch Rickey for the foresight to want to go out and do that. I mean, it's a shame the way the black players were not allowed to play Major League Baseball, because there was a hell of a lot of, you talk about cool Papa Bell and Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige, just a few that come to my mind. And they're all Hall of Famers in my book because they were great players. But here's a guy from Youngstown, Ohio, okay, who grew up with integrated schools, okay? We had black classmates. Blacks had white classmates. We represented each other. We were, together. So George, as a teammate, in his mind was always, I did the right thing because I wanted to do it, not because I was forced to do it. And, the funny part is with Jackie Robinson, baseball wasn't even his best sport. Here's a guy from Cairo, Georgia, who goes to UCLA, stars in football, basketball, and baseball. Baseball was the third sport that he was good in. It was football and basketball that were his other sports. But here he goes to Montreal, and first time up, he makes an out. Second time up, he hits a home run. It's a 3-run homer. First two guys, or George is the guy, on deck, goes to the plate and shakes his hand. If you take a look at the photograph, the umpires, the guy on first base and the guy that was the home plate umpire, they could care less. Now, aren't umpires supposed to look and see if you touch the plate? It's like they didn't care. So that was the beginning of what we call a handshake for the century, because it was the first recorded, interracial handshake.
And the sad part of all of this is it didn't occur in Major League Baseball. Could you imagine if this was 1 year later and Shotgun and Jackie were teammates with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and this had happened at Ebbets Field on opening day instead of AAA Montreal 1 year earlier on opening day? Not only would the landscape have changed, and this is going to bring out a bitter part of me, the movie 42, which is absolutely perfect, with the exception that there was nothing with the handshake, which bothered me, that they didn't take the time to throw that in, that George Shuba or any white teammate shook his hand when he first started playing baseball in AAA Montreal. It kind of bothered me.
Ron, it bothers a lot of people that are familiar with the situation, and I'm with you. I thought George should have been featured a little bit more in the movie, and I thought the handshake should have done that. You know, a lot of people talk about the Pee Wee Reese putting his hand around Jackie Robinson at second base. Can you prove it? There's no photographic memory of it. There's no remembrance of it.
Well, there's certainly photographic memory, and we bring this up because Life magazine, this was, I don't think it was on the cover, but it was very close to being on the cover of Life magazine the very next week.
See, and there you go. So I just think it was a special time because it involved somebody special from our hometown.
And so special in that it was a major part of baseball, and 75 years later, we are, or you guys, you and the folks in charge of this, have through some financial backing of people in the Mahoning Valley, have put together an absolutely gorgeous statue, a bronze statue, which is going to depict the very event that occurred 75 years ago, this coming April the 18th, in which Jackie Robinson homered, and touching home plate, George Schuba was there to shake his hand.
You know what? George would be the most surprised out of all of this. He says they're honoring me for this because, you know, George didn't think it was anything special at that time. But I must tell you that this is the brainchild of a guy named Eric Planey, Cardinal Mooney graduate who went to Bowling Green and was with the he worked locally, but he's now a banker in New York City, and he has pretty much been the you know, this has been his brainchild. But a lot of people, and I don't want to leave somebody's names out, but you talk about the co-chairs. There's three of us, and Ernie Brown, you know, formerly with the Vindicator, a very, very nice person to work with. And then there's Herb Washington, who owns all the area McDonald's, and former Oakland Athletic, played for Charlie Finley and has a World Series ring. And then, you know, just to be included with those two guys as a tri-chair is honor. Believe me, a great honor. And then you get, you know, the mayor involved and the city council people involved. And this is going to break ground, but it's not going to happen on April 18th, Ron, only because of the still because of the COVID-19 situation. We're looking at sometime in late June, early July, sometime in that area. So it's not that we don't want to break ground right now. It's because we're going to follow the mandates by the governor and the Centers for Disease Control in that.
Greg Gulas joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. All right, so COVID takes away the perfect opportunity of dedicating this statue on the 75th anniversary of this event. Tell everyone where this statue is going to be placed in Youngstown.
If you are familiar with the Covelli Center, which I think most people are, as you're coming down the bridge, if you're traveling south to north, and you're on the Veterans Memorial Bridge over there coming into Youngstown, if you look to the right, you see the Covelli Center, but then you see a piece of land where it says Youngstown. That's the Wayne Park area. It is going to be, let's see, if you look at the Youngstown sign, it'll be to the north of that where we broke ground, right, like where the hill is at.
It's a great location, and obviously it's going to be something that a lot of folks in the Mahoning Valley and specifically in Youngstown should be very proud of, in that our part of the world, our little corner of the world, because of one of our own, George Schuba, did something very special in the game of baseball.
Because he did the right thing on that given day.
Greg Gulas joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Now, in a perfect world, Jackie Robinson's widow, Rachel Robinson, is still very much alive. Now, obviously, at 99 years of age, she is quite frail, but still very much alive and very active from what I understand. Would there be any chance of Mrs. Robinson making an appearance to take part in this dedication later this year?
It is our hope, and the invitation is already out to Rachel and her family. And if she cannot make it, then we're hoping that her daughter Sharon, who has done a lot with the Jackie Robinson Foundation, over the years, we're hoping that at least somebody will be represented. You're right. In a perfect world, it would be great to have Jackie's widow, Rachel. But if not, we would love to have somebody from the Robinson family there as well.
Greg, you wrote a book about George Shuba, and this guy was a major leaguer. He I believe, he won a world championship or was part of the World Series team, the 55 Brooklyn Dodgers, the only team in Brooklyn that wound up winning a World Series. And he was bounced back and forth between Montreal and Brooklyn, but had a pretty nice career.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ron. He just kept. He always told me, he says, I just kept praying to get those days in so I could get a pension, and be it a small pension, it was still a pension that's pretty damn good that George was happy to get. But he said he would never trade those years for anything in the world. He was around some of the greatest athletes in the world and played with some of the greatest baseball players around. He was a big Willie Mays fan. He looked at Willie because he played with the game with an enthusiasm unlike any other. And you know, it takes you back to the old song, Willie Mickey and the Duke. You've got Duke Snider with the Brooklyn Dodgers. You've got Mickey Mantle with the New York Yankees, and you've got Willie Mays with the New York Giants, all sharing one city up there. How about that?
Yeah, it was pretty special. Baseball in the 50s in New York City had 3 baseball teams, and all 3 of them were pretty decent at the exact same time. Greg, before we let you go, Shotgun Shuba, one would assume, listening to that nickname, Shotgun would be, oh, this guy must have had a tremendous arm. Shotgun, that had nothing to do with his arm. It had something to do with his bat.
That's exactly right, because when he played in Mobile, Dennis Smitherman, who was the sports editor of the Mobile, I can't remember if it was the Gazette or the Post. I think it was the Gazette. Well, he kind of befriended George, and you know, George would always grant anybody any interview. He would just love to talk baseball, but Smitherman gave him the nickname Shotgun because the hits that came off of his bat looked like they were sprayed out of a shotgun. Line drive.
Yeah, no question. He was a great one. And look, this area, pitching wise, we've done pretty well for ourselves. We've had some pretty nice pitchers through the years go into Major League Baseball, but everyday players, you got Shotgun Shuba, you have Andy Costco, who got a pretty good stint with the Cincinnati Reds, among other teams. And then there's a little bit of a drop-off in terms of players, everyday players, that have made the major leagues from the Youngstown area.
Well, you're right. If you want to stretch it a little bit, there's Richie Rollins. If you remember, he played with the Twins and the Indians. And, yeah, there is a big drop-off other than, for the everyday players. With the pitchers, you got guys like Dravecky. You also had Jackie Mayo, who recently passed away. You remember Mayo and Orbitz, the realty company. He was a part of the Whiz Kids. So we've had a few, but there's not many everyday ball players.
No, definitely not. But there's certainly no one like George Shuba. And look, best of luck to you folks. And man, I just think it's a great idea that we're honoring not only George Shuba, we're honoring a moment that, had this been in the major leagues, I think people would still be talking about it to this day. But you can bet there's a lot of folks in the Brooklyn Dodger and now Los Angeles Dodger organization that know all too well about the handshake heard around the world.
I agree with you, Ron. It's it's a statue long overdue, a moment that should be commemorated. And when you think that this will only be the 9th statue ever erected that includes Jackie Robinson, and one will be in the city of Youngstown, I think that's pretty special.
Well, the other person, and obviously he was not the voice of the Montreal Royals, but he was certainly the voice of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then when Brooklyn moved to Los Angeles, Vin Scully would be a great person to invite to this as well. Right.
You're 100% correct. He would be, he doesn't travel anymore. Obviously, he's retired, but in his later years, he didn't make too many road trips. And, I think he's everybody's idol that wanted to be a baseball broadcaster. Guys like him and Ernie Harwell captured the game that, you didn't have to be at the game. You listened to it on the radio, and boy, what a picture they painted.
Greatest 5 minutes of my professional baseball broadcasting career was the tail end of the Dodgers 2002 spring training. They were the last game had been played. They were closing in on going to the airport and flying out west. And Vin Scully was hanging around the bus, and I got enough courage to go up to him and let him know that I was going to be the voice of the Vero Beach Dodgers. And he shook my hand, and he welcomed me to the Dodger family, and he and I just talked shop for 5 minutes. And I swear to God, Greg, it was hands down the best moment broadcasting-wise I've ever had.
It's a moment you'll never forget. I still remember Shotgun telling me the one time they played this. He had a recording of this, but they were honoring some of the old-timers. And they told the story that Vin was on the air, and he said one of the ball players was on the DL, and they said he was day to day. And he goes, aren't all of us day to day?
Greg, always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing this statue, and let everyone know the closer this event happens, and when we get a date nailed down, let's get you back on, and we'll talk about this.
I'll happily be back, and we'll expect you at the ceremony.
Oh, you know damn well I'm going to be at that ceremony. No two ways about that. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, Ron.
You got it. Greg Goulas, he is our guest on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Long overdue. Long overdue. Cannot wait for this statue to be dedicated. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Jackie Robinson's widow, Rachel Robinson, or someone from Jackie Robinson's family, perhaps his daughter, Sharon, will represent the Robinson family on this great occasion, the bronze statue of an event that took place 75 years ago, this coming April the 18th in Montreal, when Jackie Robinson, in his second at-bat on opening day, hit a home run, and greeting him at home plate, the on-deck hitter, Youngstown's own George Shotgun Shuba, and he shook Jackie Robinson's hand. All right, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit on this Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gberbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Berbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. All right, here's our events going on the network today and into this evening. Richie Giuliano is in the suburbs of Milwaukee getting set for the doubleheader between Youngstown State and Milwaukee. Game 1 is the 7-inning affair. That'll take place at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Game 2 will take place, or at least schedule-wise, it's scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. That'll be a 9-inning game. Single game on Saturday, single game on Sunday. All 4 games will be heard on ysnlive.com. Richie Giuliano with the play-by-play from Milwaukee. I believe Colin Floyd will be pitching game number 1, being that he's normally the guy that pitches in the 7-inning affairs. We got high school baseball across the state line over at Mohawk High School on the outskirts of Newcastle. Mohawk will be taking on one of their rivals in their league over there, Neshannock. All of these schools, Mohawk, Neshannock, Newcastle, Union, Shenango, they're all in the suburbs, in the outskirts of Newcastle. It's fascinating. I think there's like 5 schools in the Newcastle area. Newcastle, which is the huge school, and then Newcastle Union, Shenango, Mohawk, Neshannock. I believe I'm missing one. Laurel, if I'm not mistaken, is in the Newcastle area as well. Anyway, Mohawk will play Neshannock. That game will start at 4:15 from Mohawk High School. If it's in Lawrence County, take 224 and that go into Pennsylvania. I believe it's somewhere in the Newcastle area. I'm not familiar where Mohawk High School is, but it is definitely in the Newcastle area. 5 o'clock this afternoon at the Field of Dreams, Twinsburg will be playing Boardman in softball. Good to see the Lady Spartans are back home. Yesterday they had a home game, their first of the season, believe it or not. Home opener yesterday. Lady Spartans knocked off Hubbard 2-1, scoring 2 times in the bottom of the 7th inning to snatch the victory. Spartans are 4-2 going into today's game against Twinsburg. Again, they'll be playing that at the Field of Dreams. That's a 5 o'clock. No, actually, they won't be playing at Field of Dreams. They're playing at their softball complex. What am I thinking? Hello, McFly. Yeah, their softball complex, which is at Boardman High School in that property. Boardman will be playing Twinsburg. That's at 5 o'clock. Hubbard is going to be hosting Perry. Hubbard is 4-2 after the loss to the Spartans. They're 4-2. They will be hosting Perry. That game will get underway at 5 o'clock. Columbiana's unbeaten in softball. They had a 10-0 victory over Western Reserve yesterday to remain unbeaten. They travel to McDonald to take on the McDonald Blue Devils, who are 4-1. Bree Callow pitched her second perfect game of the season yesterday. She struck out 17 of the 21 batters that she faced in this perfecto by Callow. So we'll see if Bree Callow is on the bump today for McDonald, or as Anthony says, in the circle. We'll see if she's in the circle today. McDonald 4-1 in the campaign. They host unbeaten Columbiana at 5 o'clock. And then finally the nightcap of the doubleheader on the outskirts of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Richie Giuliano will have that game as the YSU Penguins take on Milwaukee. Second place is on the line for the Penguins, as they are one game in back of Milwaukee heading into this 4-game series with the Milwaukee Panthers. So fingers crossed, Youngstown State gets the job done. All right, before we, hold on a second. What do we got?
Just want to let you know,
Yes.
Bree Callow had a 5-inning perfect game. It was shortened. It was condensed. 5-inning perfect game yesterday, according to our reports.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because it had said 7 innings over here. Because she struck out 17. How does she get 5 innings if she struck out 17? Because that's 5 2/3 worth.
If a catcher drops the ball, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I stand corrected. All right. That's good. The 2 perfect games in 1 year. Good God, that's crazy. That's man, that's great. Fantastic stuff there. Little update from the Masters. Jason Kokrak is he's on the edge. We'll see if he makes the cut. There's still some players to finish their round. Kokrak bogeyed the 18th hole, so he finished 4 over for the day. He is 3 over for the tournament. Right now, as it stands, 3 over is the cut line. So right now, Jason Kokrak is playing this weekend. That could change. That could very well change. The amount of players that are currently at 2 over is 47. If 3 more players become 2 over, then that cut line goes from 3 over to 2 over, and then Jason Kokrak he's cut, and he's not playing this weekend. So essentially what needs to happen is we cannot have 3 more golfers finish 2 over for their tournament. If the cut line is at 3 over, Kokrak is in, and then that's 55 players that will go to the weekend. But if 3 more players, and right now they're at 47, if 3 more players finish 2 over or better, then that would be 50 players. And unfortunately for Jason, that would be lights out. The top 50, in a perfect world, that's what the Masters want, the top 50. So you'd have 25 teams of 2 going out on the golf course. That's what the Masters would like to have. Sometimes you can't do that because sometimes you don't have 50 at a certain number. Right now, the closest would be 55, which is where they are presently at 3 over. But if 3 more players were to go to 2 over, then the number would, the cut line would go from 3 over to 2 over, and then Jason Kokrak would not be playing golf this coming weekend, which that's the difference between not getting any money and getting a paycheck. So imagine, if you will, you were trying to get a paycheck for the week, and you have finished, and you're on the line. You're on the cut line, but there's still well enough. There's still plenty of golf to be played where, unfortunately, 3 more golfers could go to 2 over, and then you're not getting paid at all. That would suck. Hey, to be honest, that would really, really suck because nobody's getting paid here. If you don't make the cut, you're not getting paid this weekend. You don't get paid. You're golfing in this tournament, and if you don't make the cut, well, the airfare, the hotel, the rental car, all the other stuff that's that you probably invested in for this particular golf tournament, that's all on you because you're not getting any money back this week. If you make the cut, doesn't matter how bad you are the final 2 days, you're still going to collect the paycheck. Welcome to golf. Welcome to professional golf. So it would suck for guys like Jason Kokrak and, there's a couple of other golfers. Dustin Johnson, who is currently 3 over on the afternoon. Daniel Berger is 3 over. Phil Mickelson, who's 4 over, looking to get to 3 over. This would suck for these guys because if 50 golfers were to finish 2 over, that's where the cut line would be. And Warren's own Jason Kokrak would not be golfing this weekend. Bryson DeChambeau is currently 2 over. Looks like he is poised to make the cut. He is on the 14th hole. The leader in this tournament continues to be Justin Rose. Rose had a god-awful beginning where through the first 7 holes he was 3 over and 4 under for the day. But in the last 4 holes, 13, 14, 15, and 16, he has birdied 3 of the last 4 holes to get back to even for the day, 7 under for the tournament. And he currently holds a 2-shot lead on Mark Leishman, who finished 5 under for the second round and is at 5 under for the tournament. So there you go. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. We made mention of this. The umpires in yesterday's, actually Wednesday's start, between the Dodgers and the Oakland Athletics. In Wednesday's game, umpires collected multiple baseballs used by Trevor Bauer in his start for the Dodgers, his first, actually second start of the season with the Dodgers on Wednesday in Oakland. Those baseballs have been sent to MLB in New York City for further inspection. Apparently the ball had some visible markings and, according to sources, were very sticky. So it'll be interesting to see what Major League Baseball does to Trevor Bauer. By the way, his pitching line, 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. He got a no decision. The Athletics defeated the Dodgers 4-3 in that game on Wednesday. Under new rules, according to The Athletic, MLB will collect baseballs for testing at an outside laboratory and will track which pitchers through those that test positive. The league also assigned compliance officers to each team to watch for potential violations. These compliance officers are located in each of the 30 dugouts, or the dugouts of each of the 30 teams. So the league has beefed up a little bit of security in this in this format. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be curious to see what Major League Baseball does, being that Bauer is the first person and could very well be the guinea pig in whatever Major League Baseball decides to do in terms of suspension and whatnot. Now, truth be told, his baseballs were not the only ones that Major League Baseball picked off. Earlier in the week, Major League Baseball also grabbed some baseballs from a starting pitcher for another team earlier in the week. So Rob Manfred certainly is going to be busy. And as I made mention earlier in the show, if it were me, and obviously it would never happen because the players' union would never go for it, but it was me. If I was Manfred, I'd drop the hammer right now and say, here's our 3-strike policy. Strike 1 is a 30-day suspension with no pay. Strike 2 is a year suspension with no pay. And strike 3, you're out of Major League Baseball. Now, the difference between sticking it to the steroids people and sticking it to a pitcher who, pun intended, is sticking the baseball or making the baseball sticky with some substances. Not only are you suspending the pitcher in question for the first part of this, the 30-day suspension, you would also be suspending the catcher as well. And if that, I would imagine that if Manfred had the stones to do something like this, that whole shenanigans would stop, or it would be way more infrequent. It would slow down considerably, if not stop. And this would be the first time that you would stick another player with a steroid argument. Okay, your first punishment is 80 games. Second one is a year suspension. Third one, you're kicked out of baseball. But no one else is attached to that. And with reason. They're the ones that are sticking the needle in them or ingesting whatever steroid or human growth hormone to make them a person that is on substance and on a substance that is illegal in Major League Baseball. So you don't have anyone else to blame but that person for being stupid enough to do something like that. With baseball and pitchers doctoring up the baseball, I'll tell you right now, there's a 99% chance the catcher knows it. Now, does he know it going into the game? I don't know. But I'll guarantee you he knows it when he's throwing the ball back to the pitcher, because he's got his hands on the sticky ball as well. So I'll guarantee you that he's going to know that the pitcher's throwing a ball that's been doctored up. If you nail the pitcher and the catcher for 30 days, yeah, that would pretty much send a message to everyone, and I would guarantee you, if it's not stopped completely, it is slowed down considerably if you throw down that kind of a hammer. Unfortunately, it probably doesn't happen because the most powerful union in all of sports, i.e. the Baseball Players Union, would probably say, no, we're not doing this. And furthermore, Rob Manfred does not want that fight. He's going to be in a fight of his own at the end of the season, trying to get a labor contract with the Players Union that already doesn't trust the owners. Perhaps, maybe, you can bring this up during the labor negotiations, but I sincerely doubt that Manfred would have the stones to do something of this nature with the labor contract up at the end of the year, because you don't want to piss these people off any more than what they're already teed off. That's for sure. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, open for business. Major League Baseball this evening, we made mention, the Pirates had their home opener yesterday. They lost to the Chicago Cubs. They're back at it. And they will play a game with the Cubs on Saturday. They'll be back at it on Saturday. Tonight, 7:10 start, the Indians welcoming in Detroit. This will be a rematch of last weekend when Cleveland dropped 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. Plesac on the bump for the Indians. Julio Teheran on the hill for the Tigers. 7:10 start tonight. Tomorrow, it is a 6:10 start. The Indians have not figured out who they're going to pitch tomorrow. Skubal will pitch for the Tigers. Tomorrow, the Cubs and Pirates go at it at 6:35. Keller on the hill for the Buccos. Davies on the hill for the Cubbies. Don't know if anyone saw this or not. The end of the Mets-Marlins game yesterday had all kinds of controversy in it. The Mets get a walk-off when Conforto was batting with the bases loaded, 2 strikes on him, and a pitch that appeared to hit the inside corner of the plate. Michael Conforto stuck his elbow out. He's a left-handed batter, so he stuck his right elbow out far enough to have the ball hit him in the elbow. Even though the pitch was on the inner half of the plate, the ball hit Conforto, and the umpire, the home plate umpire, blew the call at home plate, where Conforto should have been called out on strikes, where the game would have gone into extra innings, deadlocked at 2. He should have been called out on strikes because, well, the ball was a strike. Even though it hit Conforto, it was in the strike zone. The home plate umpire, and that would be Ron Kaipa, he called the hit batter. And then they went to replay, and replay didn't do anything about it. Well, Don Mattingly, the manager of the Miami Marlins, he was fit to be tied, and why not? The Mets stole one yesterday, and I'll be curious. They don't play today. They're going to play on Saturday. I'm going to be real curious how soon it's going to be before Conforto gets one on his backside or in his back. I'll guarantee you someone will hit Conforto in his first at bat. I'll be disappointed if they don't, or at least try to hit him in his first at bat. I'll be disappointed if they don't. No, I'm not talking about drilling the guy in the head. That's absurd. Don't do anything like that. But I will be surprised and disappointed in the Marlins if they don't clobber him with a pitch his first time up. That's going to make for some interesting drama the first at bat for Michael Conforto, because that just, and I'll tell you what, credit to the Mets broadcasters. That would be who does the TV? Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, and Keith Hernandez. And I caught the footage of this. And these three guys, you would have thought they were the Marlins broadcasters. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're bought and paid for by the New York Mets, but they just said, "Oh, this is garbage. There's no way the Mets should have won this game like this." Conforto, he stole one, and they were able to admit to that. I thought it was really cool that these guys who are the Mets broadcasters, they didn't pull any punches. They were pretty upset with Conforto in what he did and how he stole a game, albeit a win. And, it'd be interesting if the Mets wind up winning the division or wind up getting into the playoffs by one game. Everyone can circle the date, April the 8th, in the victory that may or may not have been a earned victory by the Mets. That was definitely interesting, but it was cool to see the Mets broadcasters not play the part of, this nothing to see here. Move along. No, they called Conforto out. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. YSU going to be taking on Milwaukee. Game one of the doubleheader starting at 4 o'clock. Richie Giuliano with a play-by-play of the game, of both games, and the entire series for that matter, on ysnlive.com. Game one getting underway at 4 o'clock as the Penguins will undoubtedly send Colin Floyd to the bump, looking to get the first victory. And that game one is huge. If the Penguins win the first game, then they're in a flat-foot tie for second place in the Horizon League with Milwaukee. That first game is huge. If the Penguins can win, they're in a flat-foot tie. Both teams would be 10-7 in the Horizon League. If the Penguins were to lose game one, now you're looking at a 2-game deficit with 3 games to be played in this series. And in a perfect world, you want the Penguins to take at least 3 games in this series and get out of Milwaukee in sole possession of second place in the Horizon League. And again, the big story out of the Horizon League is the fact that Wright State is not playing for the next couple of weeks. Apparently they have a COVID situation going on in Dayton. Wright State not playing this weekend against the Mastodons from Purdue-Fort Wayne, and they will not be playing next weekend against Oakland. By the way, those are the bottom 2 teams in the Horizon League. So Wright State, and none of those games are going to be made up. So Wright State is already going to be 8 games behind the 8 ball in terms of a number of games played in the Horizon League schedule. But Wright State will not be playing baseball now until April the 23rd. 2 weeks from today, they will be back in action, taking on Northern Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. So Wright State won't be playing baseball the next couple of weeks. And Youngstown State, Milwaukee, Northern Kentucky, UIC, all of those teams that are battling for the 3 remaining spots in the postseason, along with Wright State, they're all going to be trying to jockey for a position to get closer and closer percentage-wise to taking over first place in the Horizon League standings. And they're going to go by percentages now, that Wright State is going to have 8 fewer games as of now, they'll have 8 fewer games than everyone else because Wright State's not playing baseball for the next couple of weeks due to a COVID outbreak. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll put a wraps on this one after a timeout. We'll get everyone updated on the latest out of Augusta. Jason Kokrak's round is complete. He is 3 over and waiting to see if he is going to play golf this weekend. He is on the line, and that cut line may very well change to 2 over. We'll get the latest out of Augusta coming up in a bit. Stick around.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Before we get out of here and make way for Power Hour, which is coming up at the top of the hour, a couple of things to remind you of. The YSU women's bowling team in the Final Four, and I believe this is the first time in YSU sports history that a Division I team, Division 1A, or FBS now, this is the first time in YSU history that we have a team in any sport qualifying for the Final Four in an FBS event. I do know that the YSU won 4 national championships in college football, but that is FCS and 1AA back in the day, now FCS. I believe this is the first time in the history of Youngstown State University where a FBS Division I team has made the Final Four in a sport. The Penguins this morning and early this afternoon took on the top seed McKendree. They wound up losing to McKendree this morning, dropping them into the losers bracket, where now the Penguins are going to have to win 4 matches in a row to win the national championship. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, Youngstown State will bowl against Arkansas State. The winner of that match will then take on the loser of the McKendree-Nebraska match tomorrow. If the Penguins were to win today against Arkansas State and tomorrow against the winner of McKendree and Nebraska, then Youngstown State would be bowling for a national championship on Saturday night. That match, or two matches, would be seen on ESPNU Saturday night beginning at 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. So best of luck to the Penguins. They will be bowling for their life. Fourth place is on the line. Whoever loses today in the 4 o'clock matchup between Youngstown State and Arkansas State, they will finish fourth in this four-team tournament in the Final Four of women's bowling. The YSU baseball team has a doubleheader against Milwaukee. Game 1 at 4 o'clock. It's a 7-inning affair. Game 2 scheduled to start tonight at 7 o'clock. This is because of inclement weather that is supposed to be coming into the Milwaukee area at some point this weekend. Jason Kokrak is finished at Augusta. He finished 4 over on the day. He is 3 over for the tournament. That is exactly where the cut line is right now. However, if 3 more players can reach 2 over, Jason Kokrak would miss out in the final 2 rounds. If 2 over becomes 50 golfers that have reached 2 over, then the cut line would be at 2 over. If they don't get to 50 golfers, then they will go to 3 over, and that's where the cut line is right now. 54 golfers are currently at 3 over par. 54 golfers currently at 3 over par. That is where the cut line is. So we'll see if Jason Kokrak plays this weekend. That was the ultimate goal, to make sure that you get to play this weekend. Kokrak 4 over today, 3 over for the tournament. He is literally on the cut line, 10 shots in back of the leader of this event, Justin Rose, who finishes even par today, 7 under for the tournament. That'll do it for the show. Anthony will be back, so will I, on Monday, noon to 3. We'll talk to you then. It'll be a Monday edition of Running Point. Thanks for tuning in. Many, many thanks to the Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Ron Strollo, for updating us on the bowling event over in Kansas City. Also, many thanks to Dan Doherty, the head baseball coach at Lowellville, Jeff Jackson, the head baseball coach at Campbell, and Greg Goulas, keeping everyone abreast of the bronze statue of George Shotgun Shuba and Jackie Robinson shaking hands. That is going to be dedicated and placed in Youngstown at a date to be determined, and we certainly look forward to the dedication of that event. That'll do it for the show. Talk to you on Monday. See ya.